everyone, Alex here, and today we're going to talk about thread tension. Now, you might be thinking, what's going on with thread tension? Why is it important, Alex? Well, unfortunately folks, it's really important, thread tension, because when you stitch something, maybe even for the first time, you want to make sure that everything that you stitch will stand there for the rest of time. So thread tension is really important because all the bits that you stitch, if you haven't got the thread tension right, then it could pull apart when you wear something, for example. So before we understand thread tension, I actually want to talk about how the sewing machine sews, which is actually quite interesting. Let me take you through it. The needle on the top pierces the layers of fabric into the bobbin case. Then what happens is the loop created from this is pulled around the bobbin, securing the stitch. You can see that with perfect tension, the loops are laying between the two layers. So now that we know how a sewing machine sews, what we're going to do is we're actually going to compare the thread tension between these two fabrics. Now obviously you can see that this one's a little bit flimsy, lightweight fabric, and this one's a little bit more stiffer, heavyweight. And surprise surprise, thread tension actually differs between these two. Let's see why. So, let's find our thread tension dial. You can normally find this towards the top of your sewing machine. Right, the rule goes is that the thicker the fabric, the lower the thread tension, and the thinner the fabric, the higher the thread tension. So, what we're going to do is start with the thread tension set to 4 and try this with the thick, heavyweight fabric. This time So, as we see on both sides, the stitches aren't quite easily defined. However, when we pull the pieces of fabric apart, the loops aren't really aligned in the centre, aren't they? As you can see towards the left here, this is not the right thread tension. Let's maybe try a looser one. But you break me. This is better, isn't it? When we pull it apart, the loops aren't in the centre, but you can see more of the darker green thread, can't you? So it's getting there. Let's maybe try an even looser thread tension. Perfect. When we pull the pieces apart again, the loops are absolutely central. Now, let's try this thread tension on a thinner, lightweight fabric. Unfortunately doesn't work. As you can see, both of the colours on either side, and that shouldn't be the case. And so another telltale sign is when we pull it apart again, and we can see that the loops aren't lining up in the centre. So therefore, we just have to increase the thread tension. This is a lot better, isn't it? There's still a little bit of the colours appearing on both sides, but it's not as bad. And then when we open it up, the loops are way more central. I'd even say this is perfect. So, right guys, now we know the absolute importance of thread tension, because what we saw with the heavier weight fabric, the yellow fabric, we had to whack the tension down to level 1. And so when we tried to use level 1 for a flimsier light fabric, which is the red fabric, it just did not cut the mustard, didn't it? What we had to do is we had to whack up the thread tension up to level 5. So that's why it's really important to have some scrap pieces that are luckily supplied to you in the made kits as well, so you can test as many times as you want to get the perfect thread tension for your work. And so what you need to do then is, once you made the note of the thread tension, you just put it on the instructions that come with the make kit. And so on that note guys, we'll see you soon. Take care, bye! Don't forget to follow me on Twitter at make_clothing and subscribe to my YouTube channel for more up and coming tutorials and latest updates.